Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for my July TBR. So I have the very great privilege in July to be co-hosting as a team captain for the Team Independent Kiddies in the Indie Accords Readathon, which is a readathon that was created and will be co-hosted by my amazing friend Lana from Lore and Lullabies. I am heading up this team with Ellie, who is one of my other BookTube besties from Earl Grey Books. Of course, their channels will be listed in the description below, along with all the information that you will need for the readathon. I did do an announcement video that went up last Saturday, and that was a joint announcement video with Ellie. It's a little chaotic, but it gives you all the information that you need. So if you want to check that out, find out more about it and everything, then I will link that in the description below as well as in the eye up above, so you can go and see what all is going on. But essentially, the Indie Accords Readathon is a readathon that is aimed at reading independently published and self-published books. It goes throughout the entire month of July. There are 3 teams. Like I said, I am one of the team captains for Independent Kiddies. We also have the Team Narwhal, which is hosted by Andrew from Andrew's Wizarding Reads and Jessie from The Bookish Mum. Then there is also Team Dark Knight, which is hosted by Steve from Steve Talks Books and Lana from Lore and Lullabies. So that's all the very basic bits of information that you need to know what on earth I'm going to be talking about. But like I said, if you want to join in, if you want to get the information, come and join us, then check out the announcement video from Ellie and myself, and all the other hosts as well have got announcement videos as well. So I will link all their channels, all the info that you'll need, and like I said, our announcement video as well as Lana's blog post where she talks about everything and clarifies everything. So all of that is in the description below. But today I'm going to do the TBR for the readathon. As you guys know, I usually do my Roll of Reads TBR every single month, which is the TBR game that I play in order to figure out what I'm going to read for the month. I did do a poll on Twitter asking whether I should do the TBR game or not worry about it, because I had already decided what books I wanted to read to fit the prompts for the readathon. You guys weren't actually very helpful because you ended up having a tie. So I've thought about it and I've decided that I personally don't own a huge amount of indie books. I'm definitely trying to get my hands on more. I'm trying to be a little bit more aware, but I haven't been amazing at being aware of what is indie published versus what isn't. Self-published is a little easier to figure out, but it's just not something I've really in the past thought about until I started kind of getting to know Lana and being involved in things like this. So I didn't necessarily find it super easy to fit the prompts as well as have self-published / indie published, and then to add my readathon onto my Roll of Reads game on top. I thought would be a little bit tricky. So I'm just going to not do the Roll of Reads for July. I will do it in August, and everything that I did for June in terms of whether there's punishments, etc., will count for August instead. So there is a bingo board with prompts, which I have been alluding to. I will put it up here so that you can see what I'm talking about, and I'm going to go through now and let you know what books I will be reading to meet each prompt. I have found a book for each prompt, with the exception of the one in the middle, which is to leave a review on an indie book, or as you read throughout the month. I am going to attempt to be good and leave a review for all of those books that I've chosen. So I've only chosen one for the other 8, but a few of the books will double up on prompts. So I don't always get to 8 books a month. I often try, but whether or not I'll do it, but they'll meet each prompt anyway, because you can double up, triple up, etc. So I'm going to go through now the bingo board. I'm going to start at the top right hand corner, and I'm going to go along and then along and then along and tell you what books I have selected for each of those prompts. I do have all that information in my phone, so I'm going to be looking down a little bit every now and then. Sorry. Alright, so the first prompt is to read a host's favourite. So for this one I have selected Fantasy of Frost by Kelly St. Clair. This is one of Lana's favourites and a book that she sent to me. This was a gift from Lana. So thank you very much, Lana. I'm excited to read this one. I've been hearing about how amazing it is for a while now. It is a book that she recommended to me in my birthday book recommendations from BookTuber friends as well, so I've been meaning to get to it for a while and just haven't quite got around to it, but I'm definitely super excited to read it. I know very little about it, but I'll read the blurb to you. I know many things, what I am capable of, what I will change, what I will become, but there is one thing I will never know. The veil I've worn from birth carries with it a terrible loneliness, a suppression I cannot imagine ever being free of. Some things never change. My mother will always hate me, her court will always shun me. Until they do. When the peace delegation arrives from the savage world of Glacium, my life is shoved wildly out of control by the handsome Prince Kedrick, who, for unfathomable reasons, shows me kindness, and the harshest lessons are learned. Sometimes it takes the world bringing you to your knees to find that spark you thought forever lost. Sometimes it takes death to show you how to live. So yeah, it sounds really, really cool. I've heard great things about it from other people apart from Lana as well, but like I said, it's one of her favourites, so I'm excited to read it. Plus, absolutely gorgeous cover. The next prompt is to read a book from an author from a different country from you. As an Australian, that's actually relatively easy because so many books are published in the UK and the US. So I could have gone for any of those books, but what I've actually chosen is the third book in the Stand Still, Stay Silent trilogy of graphic novels. So this is from, the author is from Finland, I'm pretty sure, and this is set in Scandinavia. It is post-pandemic, but it's quite far post-pandemic. It is about the pandemic caused a lot of mayhem across the world and apocalyptic style situation. So it's post-pandemic, post-apocalyptic, and it's about these group of explorers / scientists who are trying to figure out if anything's salvageable in the rest of the world. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I think the colour palette is beautiful and the illustrations are beautiful, and yeah, it's just really fun and nice and easy one for this readathon, so I'm excited to get to that one. The next prompt is to read a book for its cover, and for this one I have chosen A Splendid Ruin because I just think that cover is absolutely stunning. This is by Megan Chance. I don't know a huge amount about this one either. It is set in the US, I should say, San Francisco, about a woman called May Kimball. Her mother has died and she's been sent to live with the wealthy Sullivan family. So it's set in the Great Fire in San Francisco in the early 20th century. And yeah, so it sounds really interesting and I'm excited to read it. It is actually one of the books that I put on my self-destruct list for this year. So I'm also really excited to get to it because I don't necessarily want to unhaul all those books without reading them. But yeah, so like I said, it sounds really interesting. It's beautiful, definitely a lovely cover. The next prompt is read a book in a format that is different from how you usually read. So I am predominantly a physical book reader, and so for this one I have chosen to go with audiobook, and I will be reading the third book in the Foxhole Court quartet. I think it's a quartet, or maybe it's a trilogy. But anyway, I'll be reading the third book, which is The King's Men. This is a series that is, it is about a pretend sport, a made-up sport. It's about a varsity sports team in the United States, but this particular team is quite different from what you'd expect because the manager of the team and the coach has gone out of his way to find a bunch of people who need a lot of extra help, who have been through trauma and been through all sorts of horrible situations. So the team dynamics are really weird and messed up. There's a lot of trigger warnings on this one. A lot of not great stuff happens, but it's really interesting and really well written. It is from the perspective of Neil, who has a lot of secret shady stuff in his past. He is very much in hiding. He's been on the run most of his life. He started playing this game basically as kind of an out, and he ended up doing really well, and so he's been accepted onto this team, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. So yeah, I'm hoping that it'll reveal. It's been quite a while since I read the other two books. I still remember a fair bit. I'm hoping it'll reveal a lot of why things are happening because it's a little bit confusing at the moment. But yes, I will be reading The King's Men by Nora Sakovic, which I don't think I said, but that is for a different format from what you usually read. I'll be reading it via audiobook, which is how I read the other two as well. Then we have leave a review on an indie book. Like I said, I want to try and leave a review on all of these, so that works. Next up, we have the prompt read a 5-star prediction. So for this one, I have selected The Sword of Kagan by M.L. Wang. This is also one of the other hosts' favourites as well. I think it was Steve's. I'm not 100% sure actually. But anyway, it is one of the host book. I'm reading this with Ellie from Earl Grey Books as a buddy read. So if you want to join the readathon, even if you don't want to join our team, even if you want to join one of the other teams, then you can join us in the buddy read. We haven't figured out exactly when, how long, etc., but it's a fairly big book, so I'm anticipating it'll take us most of the month. Yeah, so this is a standalone fantasy, which is quite unusual, but I'm excited for that because it's going to be nice to be able to read something without investing in a huge series. I've heard amazing things about this one, and I've been excited to read it for a while now. This is one of the ones that will fit a variety of different prompts, so if you wanted to join us for the read along buddy read, then you could definitely do that and you'd still be able to fit it with a variety of prompts. So it fits, for me, 5-star prediction. It also fits a book from a country other than your own for me, and it probably will for a few people as well. It is lots of blue and black and white, which is one of the prompts coming up. Yeah, like I said, it's one of the host favourites, so it fits quite a few prompts. I'm not going to read the blurb to you again because I don't know a huge amount about this one either. On a mountainside at the edge of the Kaganese Empire lives the most powerful fighters in the world. Warriors capable of raising the sea and the wielding blades of ice. For centuries, the fighters of the Kusanagi Peninsula have held the Empire's enemies at bay, earning their treacherous spit of land the name the Sword of Kagan. Born into Kusanagi's legendary Matsuda family, 14-year-old Mamoru has always known his purpose, to master his family's fighting techniques and defend his homeland. But when an outsider arrives and pulls back the curtain on Kagan's alleged age of peace, Mamoru realizes that he might not have much time before he has to become the fighter he was bred to be. Even worse, the empire he was born to defend might stand on a foundation of lies. Matsaki told herself that she left the passions of her youth behind when she married into the Matsuda house. Determined to be a good housewife and mother, she hid away her sword, along with everything from her days as a fighter in a faraway country. But with her son asking questions about the outside world, the threat of invasion looming on the horizon, and her frigid husband grating on her nerves, Masaki finds the fighter in her clawing its way back to the surface. When the winds of war reach the peninsula, will the Matsuda family have the strength to defend the empire, or will they tear each other apart before the true enemies ever reach their shores? So it sounds very much up my alley, high fantasy, political machinations, lots of battles, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to read it. Next up, we have read a book with under 200 reviews. So for this one, I have chosen The Gaps by Leanne Hall. This is a book that is a young adult mystery. I was sent this by Ellie from Earl Grey Books for, not sure, can't remember why. Oh, it was, we did a TBR swap and I haven't read it yet and I really, really want to. It sounds really good. And it is Australian, and I checked on Goodreads and it had 160 reviews. So I definitely want to read that and give it some reviews, especially given that it's Australian. So yeah, like I said, it is a 16-year-old girl even, is abducted. The whole year 10 class at Balmoral Ladies, the news... How about I just read the blurb? When 16-year-old Yin Mitchell is abducted, the news reverberates through the whole year 10 class at Balmoral Ladies College. As the hours tick by, the girls know the chance of Yin being found alive is becoming smaller and smaller. Everyone is affected by Yin's disappearance. Even scholarship student Chloe, who usually stays out of Balmoral dramas, is drawn into the maelstrom. And when she begins to form an uneasy alliance with Natalia, the queen of year 10, things get even more complicated. A tribute to friendship in all its guises, The Gaps is a moving examination of vulnerability and strength, safety and danger, and the particular uncertainties young women face in the world. So yeah, I think it sounds really, really cool, and I'm excited to read it and review it. The next prompt is the one that I alluded to with the Sword of Kagan, and that is to read a book which has black, white, red, or blue on the cover. And for this one, I have chosen Heirs of Power by Kay MacLeod. The author is actually the sister of Kaz from Cats and Camera, who is a fantastic booktuber who I really, really love. I will link her channel in the description below. You should definitely go and check her out because she is amazing. She reads a lot of independent books and she talks about her sister's books quite a bit, and it sounded really interesting. So I have the first one of the Constellation Saga, like I said, is Heirs of Power. As you can see, lots of blue and black on the cover. So I think it counts for that one. This one is about Kitty Farlow. She discovers, after stumbling on an otherworldly ritual, that she has been gifted powers from an ancient spirit passed down by her father. She is a constellation and she's not the only one. A new generation of heroes have each inherited unique abilities to prevent the corruption of their world by the Tenebrae, a race that thrives on life energy. Kitty, along with a highborn dancer and a snarky juggler, must find their allies before the Tenebrae army picks them off. With a powerful enemy emerging, can the constellations gather in time to put an end to the threat for good, or will their foes succeed and wreak the same destruction they have unleashed on their own world? So I think that sounds amazing as well. Really excited to read it. And finally, the final prompt is to read a diverse book, so any sort of diversity that you want. And I've decided to go with I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is actually on my TBR for June, which I'm currently in the middle of. I honestly don't think I'm going to get to this one at all in June, so I really want to read it. I've heard great things about it. And yeah, I really want to read it, so I've put it on this list. There is a recommendation spreadsheet that I will link as well, and on that it says this is LGBTQIA+, so that works for diverse book. And yeah, I'm excited to read this one as well. It was about Jude and her twin brother Noah, who were very close until a tragedy drives them apart. Now they're barely speaking, and they're both falling for boys they can't have. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one as well. So that is all the prompts and all the books that I have selected for all the prompts. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure whether or not I will manage to read all those books, but fortunately there's a few that will meet a few different prompts, so I can double up, triple up if I need to. But I'd love to read all of these books because they all sound amazing and I'm excited by all of them. Also, as I said, if you would like to join us in the buddy reading read along of The Sword of Kagan, then obviously please do so. Like I said, also we haven't figured out the exact details of when we'll start and everything, so I will put that on my Twitter and on the Discord for the readathon as well, so keep an eye on all those things. So yeah, that is everything that I have for you today. If you would like to leave me a comment about any of the books I've selected, are you intending to go in the readathon, have you selected your own books, etc, etc, please leave all that in the comments below. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me a blue, black, red, or what was the other one? Blue, black, red, or white heart, because we love this readathon, we love supporting indie, and we have those colours as one of the prompts. So that's for if you want to leave me a comment that you don't know what. All of my social media details, and like I said, all of the people I've talked about and all of the information for the readathon, as well as my announcement video that I did with Ellie, is all listed in the description below. So if you'd like to go and get all that information, follow me on my other platforms, etc., please feel free to do that. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.